All right, welcome back to Eyes Open Media. Okay, so we're gonna take a look at the map. We're gonna study the map real quick, and then we're also going to what is today? So yesterday was Friday, and I didn't give a new liberation date. So let me actually let's study the map and give a new liberation date, and then we're also gonna check out some other stuff that you guys posted in the comment sections. And we'll also at the end we'll look at Bitcoin and Ethereum. Okay. So if you look at the map here, the map we just with the other map we got the other day had this area completed, right? And but the Nineveh Command Center map doesn't. So this area is actually completed. This area is actually completed. They even actually called the full liberation on this area to either to yesterday or today. So this whole area was liberated today or yesterday, and they still don't have it liberated on the map. Like it's still white right there, right? So it's almost 90%, right? But still. And then this area was also liberated on the map, and including the map that was on the Iraqi television. It was this area was liberated. Matter of fact, we're up here. We're up in this area right here. We're way up here. On the Iraqi on the map that they're using on Iraq TV. So the fact that Iraq TV has a map that's up here, and Nineveh Command Center refuses to even, to even, I'm thinking Nineveh Command Center is saying, you know what, let's make the map a week behind. But even if you make the map a week behind, every map other than Nineveh Command Center has this filled all the way up here to 90%, except for them. This has been this way. It's came up a little bit here with the green, but other than that, this hasn't moved. This whole thing right here has not moved. I mean, this is barely moved. This right here doesn't hasn't moved, and then this is barely moved in three. It's got to been almost at least 17 days, right? I was gonna say 3 weeks, but I'm gonna scale it back at least 17 days. We haven't moved. Look, we haven't moved here in 17 days. Like this is not even funny. Like on this map, but we're not gonna take this map seriously because we saw on Iraqi TV that they're showing a different map. They're showing a map that has old Mosul city 90% completed. So we're gonna go with that map, okay? But we're also gonna. I mean, if Nineveh Command Center wants to put their map out, then they put their map out. That's fine. We'll study it still, but it's way behind. And then we're not even nowhere close to 80% on this map yet. You see, we still have to get all this out here, all this out here. But then, of course, in the other maps, we're over around at 70% and headed towards 80%. I want to see the other maps updates because it's been a couple of days now. If anybody has the other maps, please post them underneath this uh, in the Facebook page, okay? Because I want to see the other map. Maybe by Monday we'll see some other maps to see where we're really at. Since this map is way off. And they only started, they only started not being accurate when they realized we were studying the map. And when I was telling them that the map is, I was asking them questions like, or somebody probably told them that, look, hey, you got some dudes looking at studying the map for revaluation. Can you not update the map on purpose? And that's what they started to do. I'm pretty sure that's what happened. Some evil dude or somebody that's evil told them, look, you got people studying the map. Can you not make the map accurate and update it? Push it back, make it 3 weeks behind or 2 weeks behind, and that's what they did. Okay, so it is what it is. And then they started adding more parts here to make Mosul look bigger than what it is, and so we can, so they can basically say, oh no, we need to finish all of this. It's gonna take us until June to finish something that's way smaller than Eastern Mosul. Okay. So yeah, pretty interesting that we're not at the V shape by now. I mean, I talked about the V shape 3 weeks ago, and we're not even at the V shape. Wow. On this map we're not, and even on the new other maps we're not at the V shape. So if you think about it, the other maps are going to be at the V shape. This V shape completed by next Friday. on the other maps that I looked at, it looks like they're going to be able to get to this V shape by next Friday and have this whole thing done by Friday. Now Friday is what day? Friday's the 31st. Okay, interesting. But yeah, the map's not going to be completed in March. This map definitely ain't going to be completed in March. And then they're also talking about some holdups and some other things like that. But Iraqi Day did come out and say something about that, so we'll get into that as well. Okay, so John Riley says that they just plain out ran out of green ink. Okay, green pencil shortage in Iraq, says Jane. Okay. You guys are joking around, but I get it. Let me see here. Let's go up here and see what you guys said. I wonder what are if any conditions were made on all the debt forgiveness. Well, they probably did currency swaps. I mean, that's the easiest way to forgive debt is do a currency swap and say, I'm going to raise my value. Here's some currency for relieving of the debt. Or you can do oil as well. So Iraq has both. Iraq has oil and currency. They got currency on their side and they got oil on their side, right? They got a limited amount of oil and they got a limited amount of currency. And so either one is fine to release the debt, to remove the debt. Let's see here. Eric has here that Russia readies backed up system for potential split with international banking system. Interesting. Greg posts here that this delay over the concern of the Iraqi people in Mosul being injured, killed. Why is it a concern now? Yeah. Don't know, Greg. Don't know. Hadia posts here that the United Nations to consider lifting Iraq sanctions. Okay. And people are saying Clyde says this article is 14 years ago. John Riley, question marks. Okay, April 2003. Hadia said, what happened to Eric John? Oh, Eric John did exclamation marks. Yeah. Let me go on here. Let's see. There's a map that we just talked about. Good. Okay, Ross says good report, but in my opinion, citizens were forced to stay due to not being able to get out of Mosul. If they're being used as for human shields, how can they get out? Just a thought. They're being used for human shields. How can they get out? Just a thought. Well, only some of them were being used for human shield. You saw like 300,000 of them just roll out, just on by themselves. Only a few of them were being used as human shield. There's not a lot of Daesh members in Iraq. There's not a lot of Daesh ISIS members in Iraq. The citizens are 100 times more populated than Daesh, right? When we completed Eastern Mosul, Daesh was on. They reported that there was 1,100 Daesh members in Western Mosul. Now, of course, that number has tripled because they want to make it look like Daesh is an infinity number right now. But we've killed over 1,100 Daesh ISIS members in Western Mosul, and the number it just keeps growing and growing every day. They killed 60 over here, they killed 30 over here, they killed 20 over here. It's like, wait a minute, that number is way above 1,100 now. We're talking about 2,000 to 3,000 Daesh members killed now, and where are these people coming from? So you got to think about it. It's no longer Daesh and ISIS that's really in Western Mosul. It's foreign terrorist groups or troops from other countries like Turkey and other countries like that want to reign or want to own or that might be in there that don't want to leave. and they have weapons, so they want to fight, and they enjoy fighting. That's what we're probably dealing with now. I don't think we're dealing with ISIS and Daesh. I think we're dealing with foreign terrorist groups now, because there was only 1,100 ISIS and Daesh members coming into Western Mosul, and we've already killed like 2,700 of them, right? So where are all these people coming from, and why are they still a stronghold in Tel Har and Old Mosul City when we just killed over 2,000 and they only told us they were 1,100? So something's not right. The numbers aren't adding up. And Tina makes a good point here. Oh, or they were being held back to depopulate the citizens of Iraq so that the government will not have to pay out a lot of money in oil shares to citizens. With as many Iraqi citizens that are having to pay oil shares to everyone would bankrupt the country. No, it wouldn't bankrupt the country because the money is allocated in the budgets that they never opened. Okay, so the money is allocated in the budgets going all the way back to 2007 that they never opened. So the 2007 budget, 2008 budget, 2009, but they never opened any of these budgets. Are never been opened. Okay, so they've been using debt. They've never touched. They haven't touched their money in the budget. They use debt. They use loans from the IMF, the World Bank, Japan, China, Russia, UK, India, whoever. They use loans. They've been milking the world. They haven't touched their own money. And so that's why the citizens can get the back pay because the money's in the budget. But yeah, that the Satanists that run Iraq would love to depopulate Iraq so that if they did have to revalue and come back to a free market and give the citizens their oil dues, there's not a lot. There's only half the citizens left to give oil dues to. Yep, that's right. Tina, that's how sick these people are. Even though it's allocated in the budget, the same budget that they wanted to steal 52 trillion dinars from, or was it billion? I don't know. It was either billion. I think it was 52 billion that they tried to steal from, or it had to be. Billion is not a lot to these guys. Maybe it was trillions. I don't know. Maybe I don't know. I'm gonna let that one go. John Riley says if 80 and 90% of Mosul's liberated, why get out? Man. Let's see here. Okay, so Iraqi Day says that the joint operations has not been suspended. Operations in Mosul have not been suspended or paused or stopped, and the forces continue advancing. Okay. Hey, look who it is, Biana. Hey, Biana. Hadira has here that Iraq's armed forces have finished their preparations for the liberation of Telahar and will begin advancing very soon. Okay, for 3 weeks we've heard this. We saw them playing the guitar. We saw then the next, the first week we saw them. The first week we talked about Telahar, that they were waiting on orders for Telahar. We saw them planting a garden and planting a tree. The second week we saw them playing a guitar. Now this week they're talking here. They're on top of a vehicle riding around bored. So once again, the forces are bored, waiting to advance in Telahar. Now we did do some bombing in Telahar, but that's not going ground. We need to go on the ground and liberate Telahar. Okay. And I did respond back saying, "Look, man, this is 3 weeks in a row now. We've been saying this crap." Prime Minister Abadi met with all the PMU's commanders to assure them that the PMU is an official force part of Iraq Security Institute. Okay, that's pretty good because they've done a great job right there. Hoshed and PMU. Okay, and Bitcoin, I got it here at 950, and Ethereum is at 51, breaking the 50 mark. It did break it yesterday. I think it even hit 52, and then it came back down to about 48. So yeah, Ethereum's going to 100. Bitcoin is gonna be more confusion until after May for Bitcoin. Okay, so let's talk to you guys on the report extras later today. Peace out.